So I've been using Creative webcams for a long while now. I've been a massive fan of their Livecam Sync 2K, the previous version to this year's 4K variant, and it's worked extremely well for my content creation and taking calls with colleagues and friends over Teams and Zoom and Discord and that kind of thing. But now it's time to upgrade, and Creative have been kind enough to let us check out their new LiveSync Cam 4K. So let's dive in. The new Creative Livecam Sync 4K is a small-sized webcam that can sit above a screen, being a monitor, laptop screen, or television thanks to its rear flap, and is rather a lot wider than previous versions. This is mainly due to the light effects that appear on either side of the lens when the camera detects a recording software opening on your PC, but it's definitely still small enough not to look too intrusive on your desk. There's also a thread so you can connect the webcam to tripods too if you wanted to use it for your live streams in a different position rather than on the top of your monitor. Now on top you can find one button for your backlight compensation settings, which you can press to cycle through 7 stages, and there is also a toggle switch to mute the microphone. The Creative Livecam is capable of producing a 4K image thanks to its Sony IMX series 8-megapixel imaging sensor, which is a big step up from the last Livecam V3 we took a look at. Just check out the quality difference. So this is just a very quick difference between the Livecam Sync 4K on the top left hand side of the screen and then the Livecam Sync 2K, which is on the bottom right hand side of the screen. There is a small manual focus ring so you can ensure you are kept in the perfect focus when talking to the camera, and I will say that this does cut down on that very frustrating focus hunting that can happen at times with webcams. Saying this though, I'm not quite sure why an autofocus setting has been completely missed, as people who do use their webcams as a camera for content creation now have to stand on the very spot or manually adjust focus every time they want to move around the frame. The focus is controlled by rotating the lens hood on the front of the webcam, and focusing can be a challenge as the majority of your hand covers the lens when focusing on yourself anyway. A nice feature here that I do quite like with my footage is the backlight compensation that the LiveSync Cam 4K offers. Now if you're someone who sits by a window while working or like to use some kind of key light or ring light, it does a really nice job of keeping you, the subject, at a correct exposure while minimizing or maximizing, if needed, the brightness of your background, offering a decent level of separation. However, if your background is too dark, I have noticed that there can be quite a bit of noise introduced into your footage. In terms of resolutions, you do have a choice of a few depending on what your computer can handle when broadcasting. Now, of course, as the name suggests, the max resolution that this camera can hit is 4K at 25 frames per second. Though if needed, you can drop this down to 1080p at 40 frames per second. This will give you a slightly smoother image, but the difference is very minimal. I would have liked to have really seen a 60 frame per second capture here. The webcam does have a 95-degree field of view, which is pretty wide for a webcam, and features dual microphones on the front, which sound okay. They'll get you through a call on Teams or Zoom, but shouldn't really be counted on if you're going to be using this camera to live stream. You do gain access to Creative Smart Comms Kit, which is inside of the Creative app. So if you've got some background noise going on, you can cut this out, and also a voice detect feature that will auto mute you if it doesn't detect that you are talking. So I just wanted to show very quickly on how powerful the noise clean out, as it's called on the Smart Comms Kit inside of the Creative app, just how powerful it actually is. So what I've done is I've bought a vacuum cleaner, and I'm going to switch it on, and this is what the vacuum cleaner will sound like when this mode isn't switched on. And as you can tell, it is extremely loud, but what happens when I turn on the noise clean out? It does a very, very good job of cutting out that drummy vacuum cleaner sound. So the nice advantage you have with this, that if someone is vacuum cleaning in the background, say, of where you're recording, I've just put my vacuum cleaner behind me, it does a very, very good job of cutting out that drummy audio in the background. So it's a very, very nice feature built into this webcam. The other feature you have built into the Smart Comms Kit inside of the Creative app is its voice detect mode, which, as it says on the tin, it only turns on when it detects your voice. So at the moment, I've got my voice detect switched on. As you can see, my mic mute delay is set to 2 seconds, and it's got an auto adjust on there. You can manually adjust that if you wanted to, But just listen to what happens when I stop talking. Absolutely nothing. It just completely cuts out all audio. I'm pretty impressed at the Creative Livecam Sync 4K. It has a very nice feature set and is a decent entry into the webcam market, especially if you're someone who uses this camera for multiple purposes like content creation and taking meetings, and maybe even live streaming. Though the microphone is alright, if you're creating content you're going to want something a little better, but for calls there's nothing wrong with the way it sounds at all, and it definitely sounds better than built-in microphones on laptops. Now the cost, Creative are currently selling them for around £75 here in the UK, so a little pricey if you ask me, but certainly worth it for the image quality it can produce. Thank you very much for checking out my video review of the Creative Livecam Sync 4K webcam. If you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to keep up with our latest tech and gaming videos, and also let us know in the comments down below, is this webcam something you would go for your own live streams or your own business meetings? Or have you got a webcam of choice? Let us know in the comments down below. As I say, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.